Morning, everyone. How are we? Let me move my phone over a little bit. Morning, TikTok. Morning, Facebook. Morning, YouTube. Hope we're all good. Hope we're all happy. Hope we're all healthy. Hope we're all well. It is Tuesday, the 9th of September. The sun is shining, though it is definitely, though I could have done with ironing this, to be honest with you, but it is definitely sweatshirt, hoodie weather, morning or evening. It might not be hoodie, sweatshirt weather mid-afternoon because it's meant to be really nice today. But yeah, it's that time of year now, isn't it, where the old hoodies can come out a little bit. Yeah, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. I said it yesterday. I said I quite like. It's quite nice. It's quite nice. Yeah, sticking a hoodie and a jumper on. It is. It is. It's homely, isn't it? Homely. Is that the right term? I have no idea. Anyway. Oh, we're all good. You already said that, Neil. I know I have. I'm really good, actually. I had a really good night's sleep last night. We watched Wednesday. We finished the series off. So that is Wednesday season 2 done. John, we never watched Wednesday season 1 until last year. I know it came out ages ago. We didn't actually watch it until last year. I don't know why we waited so long. I just think it was something like we didn't really know what it was. We've answered it. Isn't it ace when you like put off watching this series for ages? I think we watched it like last Halloween sort of thing. And we thought, you know what, let's give it a go. It's absolutely brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant. And the second season's really good as well. I don't know if it's as good as the first one. They're never quite as good as they continue along. It was still very, very good though. Really, really good. Really, really enjoyed it. So that was last night. I was on last night, did a live. Yesterday's eating went really, really well. I finished on a couple of thousand calories. I've got nothing on this weekend, nothing on at all. So normally on a Monday, Sunday's normally quite calorific. Mondays are normally really low calorie for me. But yesterday, I'm not saying the food noise was knocking about a little bit, but I just kind of, I suppose, a little bit subconsciously decided not to make it as low a calorie as I normally do. Where did I end up yesterday? That is definitely not. Oh, that's today. Where was yesterday? So I had 2,038 calories, whereas normally I'm about 1,700. Still banked a good amount for the weekend. And that's kind of my mission this week. I'm going to try and stick to 2,100 or less most days. Even though I've got nothing on at the weekend, that'll take me 2,500 into the weekend. And then as I've got nothing on at the weekend, I want to kind of end up in my ideal deficit a little bit. Got eye on the price for holiday, 3 weeks on Thursday. I'd like to be the same weight going into my next holiday as I was on the 29th of August, which I talked about last night. Weekly Weight Loss vlog was out yesterday. Bit of a different one. I don't know if you've watched it. I thought it was going to be about 10 minutes long. It ended up being nearly 30 minutes long. Some good travel tips in there, which I did speak about yesterday. So that is my mission at the moment. Now, we've got nothing on this weekend and nothing on the weekend before we go away. But next weekend, we are out with some friends. So I'll talk about that. And it's something we've had planned for a little bit. And it is going to be a bit of a drinky poos, right? So we're going out, but it's only going to be an afternoon thing. We've all decided that we're going to go out about 12:30, right? And then we're going to come home at 7:30. So it's around 6 hours, right? Or is it 7 hours? That's 7 hours, isn't it? But it is just going to be a steady away thing. We're going to go and have a couple of drinks. We're going to get some nice food, and then we're going to get a takeaway on the way home. So that's going to be quite a calorific weekend. We'll end up we'll see how calorific, obviously, in a week or so. But this week, nothing on. So just head down, and I want to end up in my ideal deficit at the end of this week. Yeah, I want to do pretty good. So anyway, good start yesterday. 2,038 calories. Steps were good, about 13,000. We'll lay that foundation for the week, and we're just going to follow on today. Let's do top 5 on TikTok. Louis in at number 1, Donna's in at number 2, Lisa's in at number 3, Mr. John Jackson is in at number 4, and Mama Bear is in at number 5. Good morning, guys. Thank you as always for jumping straight to the live, coming in and saying hello. Kevin's in, morning, mate, on YouTube. And Leanne, good morning. I ended up 62 calories over yesterday. Monday seems to be a hungry day. I did pack in 142 grams of protein, and I've been averaging 10,000 steps last 3 weeks. That's really good, Kevin. Yeah, it's different strokes for different folks. Like I say, for me, why Monday always tends to be a low calorie day for me is because Sunday always tends to be a high calorie day. And it's not like I'm trying to compensate. If I eat a lot one day, my appetite's never that great the next day. Now, last night, we decided to snack a little bit in bed, and that's where I had the extra. So I was at about 1,600 calories going to bed, but I had 400 calories in bed last night. I ended up having 1.5 protein bars and ended up having some popcorn as well, which, again, I was all right with. It's well within my calories. Normally I'd be like, nah, I'm not too bothered. But yeah, I had a bit of snackage in bed yesterday. But, if you end up a little bit over, again, some people might struggle on a Monday because it's like a bit of post-weekend blues. I always think that. Well, me and Rachel always end up having a takeaway on a Saturday night. And I'm like, why don't I cook at the weekend? Why don't I have a takeaway on a Wednesday? Like tonight, right? Tonight, I'm literally, I teach spin tonight. So I'll probably leave Ribby about 6:15. But I don't know why I don't take a proper. I finished my class, I changed my t-shirt, and then I just come home and then I'll have a shower when I get home. But I said to Rachel, I don't know why I don't take a gym bag, go and have a bit of a steam and a sauna afterwards, have a shower. There's a Papa John's at Ribby Hall. So I don't know why I don't grab us a Papa John's. It's 2 for Tuesdays. So it's buy one, get one free on a Tuesday. We have a takeaway on a Tuesday night. But I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me, right? Because that's the time when I should be using a bit of convenience. Whereas on a Saturday and a Sunday, I just enjoy having a takeaway at the weekend. I think it's just having that full switch off. So, but anyway, it is what it is. And if you did go a little bit over, it's Monday. So if you're going to go a little bit over your calories, Monday's the day to do it because you've still got, the rest of the week to catch up. Well, today, Kevin's got 62 over yesterday. If he ended up 300 under today, he's still 250 under for the week. So he's not in a, he's not in a terrible place at all. Maureen saying good morning. Oh, good morning, Maureen and Kelly and Steph GC. Good morning. Tina, good morning. Faye, Lynn, good morning. Good morning. Paul is in. Good morning. Jackie's in. Morning. Missed yesterday as I was looking after granddaughter, so I had to watch Miss Rachel. What's Miss Rachel? I have to watch Miss Rachel all the time. Otherwise, she gets a bit carried away with the bank account and stuff. That's the one. I don't really. We have our own money. How does everyone else do that? This is relationships now. We're not going on weight loss. How does everyone else do their money with their partners, right? So me and Rachel are married. So she always reminds me that her money's her money and my money's her money. That's kind of what I get reminded all the time. But this is how we did. Like we went on holiday and we were chatting to some friends of ours that we went on holiday with last year. And they were literally like, yeah, everything just goes in a joint account. And I'm like, me and Rachel don't do that. Like, Rachel gets paid, I get paid. And then we put a set amount of money in our joint account, which covers all our bills, food, and a couple of other bits and pieces. And everything else we keep separate. What I earn. What Rachel earns. That's the way we do it. How does everyone else? Does all your income just go into one pot and you just sort of, Because I'm like, how do you buy each other presents? How do you buy, how do you treat each other? Sometimes we'll go out for tea and I'll pay. And then sometimes we'll go out for tea and I'll pay again. And then sometimes we'll go out for tea and then I'll pay again. And then sometimes we'll go out for tea and I'll pay again. I'm like, where does Rachel spend any money? And then on the next thing, there's a big box turns up on the front doorstep from Sephora. And I'm like, that's why I always pay for tea. But anyway, there we go. I just wonder how other people do their money. Just interested. Nothing to do with weight loss. Sometimes it's good just to talk about all different bits and pieces, Been to level already. Got a busy day. Kelly's on it. Motivated. She's up. She's out. She's been and done a shopping. It's not even 9 a.m. I don't even know what time Lidl opens. Even though food noise has been louder, I just checked and I haven't gained any weight. Lovely, Paul there. We like that. That means you've got some nice self-control. I'm always hungry on a Monday. Bit of a common trend. Finished yesterday on nearly 17,000 steps. Wow. How much is your community plan? My community plan is £5 for your first month using code WELCOME. £5 for your first month using code WELCOME. And then after that, if you decide to stay in the community, it's £9.99. There's no contract to stay in the community. You can come and go as you please. What do you get if you join my community? You get a full calorie breakdown, a guide to bossing your weight loss, and you get the community. That's the big thing about the community. In the WhatsApp side of things, in the community, there's about 400 people, but in the WhatsApp side of things, there's about 200. Not everyone joins the WhatsApp side of things. In the WhatsApp, but I think the values in the WhatsApp community, it's basically, we've got 3 different groups. We've got a general chit chat group, we've got a weight loss group, a weight loss Q&A group, and we've got a recipes and food group. And basically, it's just really good interaction. You're surrounding yourself with like-minded people that you can sort of bounce off. Also within the community, you get weight loss coaching lives. We're doing one this morning at 11 a.m., which is how to get, we're talking getting back into the swing. So this is relevant. I'm talking about coming back from my holiday, but this is kind of like coming back maybe from the school summer holidays where you've not quite been at it 100%. So how to kind of get yourself back into that weight loss, focus. And then on Thursday, we've got another weight loss coaching live. And I'm talking about the countdown is on. I'm sorry, it's going to get mentioned on Thursday. The countdown is on. I'll let you decide what that's all about. And then also once a week in the community, we do an everything weight loss session where we can all come together and you can come and interact directly. So basically like doing a live, but it's just for people in the community. And it's, we've got chat bot, but it's got chat box, but it's on Zoom. So if you want to come and chat on Zoom and talk about your weight loss week or just ask any questions, you can do, right? What else do you get in the community? We've got a private Facebook group. I'm working on some new meal guides for the Facebook group, guys, by the way. I started them yesterday. So there's 9 meal guides in the Facebook group. If you are currently in the community or on planning, you don't know where they are, go to the files section. There's 9, and it's high protein, high fiber, and it's structured for around 1,600 calories a day, 1,800 calories a day, 2,000 calories a day. They're really, really good. And I'm working on some new ones. I've been a bit slow with those recently. So I'm going to work on some new ones, and I'm going to get them put into the Facebook group over the next couple of weeks. This week, really, the focus is getting the challenge sorted out. So there's loads of value in the Facebook. It's £9.99 a month. You get a lot for your tenner. Basically, the first month is £5. So you can come in and have a look for a £5 and see what you think. And you'll get a full calorie breakdown from me. TikTok profile, Facebook page, YouTube page. Go into my link tree is what you want. Second tab down is like a little shop, and it will say, I'll show you now. I'll show you now. I can't show you guys Facebook, YouTube because it's I can't show you Facebook, YouTube because it's on my computer and you're on my computer, so I can't spin it around. I could possibly show you on my iPad, but it doesn't look the same. Doesn't look the same. Anyway. Oh God, do you know what? I've just cleared all the cache out of my computer and I forgot it gets rid of all your saved like links and stuff like that, which is a nightmare. Let me bring my link tree up and then I will show you exactly how to sign up. We do the same, have our own money. Yeah, it's just the way, it was just interesting. Like I say, our friends that we spoke to were literally like, yeah, we just, everything just goes into a pot. And I'm like, oh, what if it's your partner's birthday and you go and buy him a present? You're going to see flipping whatever boots or whatever you buy your partner's presents from or thing you're coming out. I'm like, yeah, I think it's just that's my personal thing. I just wondered how you did that. So but like I say, we have a joint account and we have separate accounts. So we put X amount each into the joint account, and that, like I say, covers all our bills. Covers all our food. Generally, there's a little bit left over that might build up, and we might use that to pay up for a bit of holiday spends or something at some point. And that's it. And then everything else is just, and then if we get a big bill that comes in, like something breaks down, or we just kind of, we split it very evenly. It's normally called Neil pays and Rachel just looks at me and goes, thank you. That's how it's again. I'm only joking. I'm winding. I am joking. Rachel is good at paying away. She really, really is. Right. Let me flip my camera. So this is my link tree. If you're on TikTok now, and then as you see, this is my little shop. And if you click on that, it'll bring up here. So you got my one-to-one plan. The summer deals are still on until tomorrow. One-to-one plan, yearly plan, and then this is the community. So click on that. That'll take to my website, and then you can think it's $9.99 a month. You can see there. But for your first month, if you're a new customer, use code WELCOME. it at checkout, and it'll be £5. That's it. And you know, it's worth the £5. Just get your calories worked out from a professional. You know, I know there's lots of people on TikTok that go, oh, send me your details and I'll work all your calories out for free. They're not working your calories out for free. They give you a rubbish amount, hoping that you struggle on that amount. You know, it's not very accurate. And then you'll come back to me, oh, you gave me some calories, they're not working. Well, you might need a bit more support. Why don't you join this? Why don't you join that? I'm not going to coerce you into that. I'm just going to say now it's £5. And I'll give you calories in it, and they'll be absolutely spot on for you. Leanne on Facebook, is training at home effective? I can only make up to 10 kilograms with dumbbells I have available. I also have resistance bands. I do it 3 or 4 times a week. Just look for general fitness. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, right? Like, what are you trying to achieve from working out? What you should be trying to achieve is improving physical and mental health. Can you improve physical and mental health exercising at home? Absolutely, you can, right? And what do we class as exercise? Well, anything really. This is for me personally. So there's a couple of generic things that we might look at. Was it just a shadow? No, I have spilled. No, it's just water. There's a couple of generic formulas to look at for what we would class as exercise. So your maximum heart rate, again, this is just a generic number, is 220 minus your age, right? And that is really the highest you should take your heart rate to, or you should be able to take your heart rate to. A lot of people worry about exercise. They think that if they take the heart rate really high, they're going to have a heart attack. Heart attacks don't work like that. You generally have a heart attack when blood flow stops for whatever reason, going to the heart, and it kind of goes into shock, right? But the body is a very clever thing. If you do any exercise to an extent that's very strenuous and raises your heart rate up, you know, it's very intense, your body will shut itself down in terms of you'll just have to stop, right? You can only sprint for so long before you go, and that's because you're not getting enough oxygen into your muscles, and your body will just it'll tell you that you need to stop, and you'll just have to stop. You know, no one can sprint for an extended period of time, however fit you are. If you're trying to run as fast as you can, you know, you'll gas out very, very quickly. So we don't need to worry about that. So 220 minus your age. So I'm 45. So 220 minus my age is 175. So that's like a rough guide for that, for my highest heart rate while exercising. And then anything above 60% of that. So for me personally, it's about 100 between 105 and 110, right, is classed as exercise, right? So anything above 60% of, you know, if you're taking your heart rate 60% or more above maximum heart rate, that's exercise, right? And that's good for you. And that will improve your physical and mental health. And it doesn't matter whether you do that in your front room. It doesn't matter if you do that in the gym. It doesn't matter if you do that in a swimming pool. It doesn't matter if you do that on a tennis court. It doesn't matter if you do that going for a walk, right? That is exercise. And if you continuously do that, your body will adapt. So if I went for a walk at a certain pace, right? If I went for a walk at a certain pace, yeah. If I went for a walk at a certain pace, right? And my heart rate at the end of that walk was 115 beats per minute, right? So I'm in that exercise bracket for me, yeah. And if I did that continuously, maybe twice a week, you know, consistently, not continuously. If I did that consistently, twice a week, 3 times a week, eventually, and walks at the same pace, my heart rate wouldn't get to that because I get fitter. Right? It would keep dropping, and that's a sign of getting fitter. So what do I do then? Well, I'd walk a bit quicker, right? And then that'd bring the heart rate back up. And as I adapted again, I'd walk a bit quicker still. Now, you can only walk so fast, so you might get to a point where you decide to do a little jog, or you might do a run. You know, and this is how we improve, you know, our fitness levels. That's our cardiovascular fitness. So that's our heart health, lung health, things like that, right? Leanne's put, I'm trying to improve my arms, bum, and tum. I'm seeing small changes, particularly on my bingo wings. But if I can lift heavier, will it stop? But if I can lift heavier, will it stop? So basically, you're limited if you're trying to do resistance training, right? How we increase muscle mass is by, again, getting the body to adapt. So how we get the body to adapt to improve our heart rate is we take our heart rate consistently to a certain level by doing an activity. And over time, we'll get fitter and healthier. Our lungs will improve. We'll be able to take more oxygen to the body. The heart won't need to pump as hard, and the heart's a muscle that will get stronger. Yeah. Now, resistance training, getting the body to adapt with resistance training is basically when we do any exercises. So let's say we're doing a bicep curl, which works the bicep here, right? What you're doing with the muscle is you're stretching it and contracting it and stretching it and contracting it. And eventually you want that muscle to rip, right? So you stretch, contract, stretch, contract, stretch, contract. And over time, it'll go. And when I say over time, we can do that in a workout. Like you put your muscle under resistance and you'll get these little tears in your muscle. And that's when your arms are sore, your back sore. You know, I'm squeezing my back muscles now. I did back yesterday and I can feel the soreness. So I've ripped my muscles in my back, right? And then over time, your body adapts and it makes those muscles bigger and stronger. The issue with training at home is you are limited to your weights generally, right? You've not got the same weights that are available in a gym. Now, working like an independent muscle or an isolated muscle, like a bicep or a tricep or a lateral delt, you don't need a lot of weight to work those. Where you might struggle at home to see big improvements is bigger muscle groups, legs, back, chest, because you're probably going to need to lift heavier than what most people have at home to get these to break down. If you've never lifted weights before, you'll get some reaction at the start, but eventually that's going to catch up. Now, I think Leanne's put there, she's got 10 kilogram dumbbells. Well, that's fine for arms, right? That's not bad for triceps. That's not bad for biceps. You're going to be able to build a reasonable amount of muscle with that. But, for doing leg workouts, if you're holding your 10 kilos there and doing bodyweight squats, not bad, but your bigger muscle groups, you're going to adapt to a point where you're probably going to need to do a little, you're probably going to need to, move into a gym. Depend on where you want to take it, so there we go. I've done well for 14 months. Now struggling with long COVID, finding it hard to work out and eat healthy. Long COVID shouldn't affect you eating healthy, Roy, but there can be a bit of a domino effect. Sometimes we think if we can't put all the pieces of the puzzle together, it is pointless. So eating healthy, controlling calories shouldn't really be affected by long COVID. Obviously, moving can be, but again, long COVID is just a case of your capillaries and your lungs are a little bit damaged and you just need to work on improving them, right? And there's very little data about long COVID. A lot of people think it's a load of nonsense. A lot of people, there's not much scientific data to say that it's something that is, that should affect people long term. But I don't quite believe that, if your lungs, it's a bit like having COPD or something like that. If your lung capacities are damaged for whatever reason, that's going to limit the amount of oxygen that can be put into your bloodstream, and that'll make you basically fatigue. It just causes fatigue, right? But you just need to take it slowly and work on just improving lung capacities, because you've still obviously got capillaries that do work. So it's just, I think what a lot of people be like, I used to move like this, now I've got this condition and I'm going to try and move like I did before and I can't. No, you might not. So you need to adapt. You need to just work on it and adapting. I've lost over 100 pounds, absolutely amazing. Got down to 16 stone, a couple of stone back on over the summer. Back playing cricket now. Good. So you've got a good. So you're exercising, you're playing cricket. You might not be able to quite do what you did pre-COVID, but that doesn't mean you can't consistently lose weight or maintain your losses, Roy. So I think sometimes, like I say, if we can't put all the pieces of the puzzle together, I think sometimes we think it's pointless putting any pieces of the puzzle in place. Yeah. Right. Let me scan down. We didn't say we have our own money. Yeah, I was just interested. Me and my partner have a joint account, but we have 4 kids though, so it's their money. Well, yeah, I suppose so. So like I say, I'm not saying me and Rachel don't have a joint account. We have a joint account, but we don't put everything into our joint account. We put enough in for to cover everything that we both should be paying for, and then we keep a little bit separate for our own money. That was it. But where, you know, and if we had kids, you know, when we first moved into our house, we put £800 a month each into the joint account. Now we put 1,200 in because obviously things get a bit more expensive and things change. You know, if we have kids, we might put 50, and as we put more money into the joint account, it kind of decreases our disposable income. So that's what I was saying, though. If everyone, like, if you put everything into a joint account, you don't have any personal disposable income. And I just wonder how people get it. Just a general question. Just a general question. Thanks. Just left me very weak. Yeah, but you can improve that, Roy. You can. You just need to be a bit more slowly catch your monkey, and you will get better. You will. It just might take a little bit of time. Good morning. Weather is terrible. Not here. The sun is shining. It's probably hit us tomorrow if it's come across the Atlantic, Stefan. So yeah, it doesn't look too brisk after today, but definitely gonna again make hay while the sun shines. Definitely gonna try and get the dogs out a couple of times. Anyway, let me scan up, see if I missed anything, and see what's going on. Karen, good morning. Karen hates just sitting there. Karen, I've not sent. Please forgive me. I've not sent your protein box off yet because the way we've done it, I've got to go into. It's just me being lazy. I've got to go into F3 and set up rather than basically protein boxes. There's 2 left, by the way. If anyone wants a protein box, go and grab one. There's 2 left. I'll get them in the post for you today. When you buy a protein box off my website, it automatically generates. I can choose every Royal Mail, Yodel. It automatically generates the shipping label, and I can just print it out, stick it on the box, and away we go. Karen's just had an issue this month, so she's paid me kind of like directly into my bank for a protein box. So I've just got to go in and manually enter it. And I'm just being a lazy son, and I apologise for that. It will be with you today, though. Well, it'll be sent off today because I've got to go to the post office later on. So I will sort it out for you today, and I will get it sent off for you. Off to a wedding today. Oh yeah, you said that. What a strange day to get married. I get why people get married midweek, and obviously over the last couple of years, a lot of people have done Thursdays and stuff because of COVID and backlogs, and because there was no weddings for like 18 months. It's okay, don't worry, I'll start. Sorry, Karen. Oh, someone else has just bought one. Hang on, let me just check the stock. I thought there was only 1 box left, and I've just been in, and there is 2. Let me just check the stock in case anyone else is trying to buy one. Yeah, there's no stock now because someone else has just bought one. Let me put in. So if you've just tried to buy one and missed out, there is 1 left. Someone has just bought one. So there is 1 left. So if you want one. Oh, Lisa's grabbed it. So there's 1 left. If you would like a protein box in the post today, go and grab one now. Anyway, Tina's, I thought Tuesday's a random day for a wedding, but it's one of them, isn't it? Like, it's like, look, you give people plenty of notice. Just book a day off work if you want to come to my wedding. And it'll be miles cheaper getting married on a Tuesday. Miles cheaper. We got married on a Monday. Me and mates. We didn't have anyone there. We just went and got married. Dead simple. We took 2 witnesses, 2 of our very good friends as witnesses, and we went and spent 450 quid afterwards on a right slap-up meal for the 4 of us. That was it. Wedding done and dusted. Though we have said on our 5th wedding anniversary, so in a couple of years' time, I can't believe we've been married 3 years this year. On our 5th wedding anniversary, we're actually going to have a wedding party. That was always our plan. Our plan was just to go and get married. It just made us both feel sick spending 20 grand on a wedding. It's just like 30 grand. It's like, not happening. Not interested. We've been together 10 years. Don't need to, just for other people to moan about dry chicken and the entertainment not being good. It's like, not happening. So we sort of said, let's just go and get married. And then on our 5th wedding anniversary, we're going to do a party. Anyway, Tina, have a great day. I think Tuesday's great. And the weather, I hope the weather's decent where you are. Can't remember whereabouts you are in the world. But if it's anything like it is here, it's a bit cool at the moment, a bit fresh. But yeah, I hope you have an absolutely fantastic time. Off to the gym shortly for legs, bums, and tums. Brilliant, Tina. Enjoy your gym training session. I always like training before a day out. And it's nothing to do with, I'll be honest with you, I used to have the mentality, if I go to the gym and train, then I've earned myself like my day out because it's going to be a bit more calorific. I now know that's totally different, but I still like that work and reward. I do like a work and reward mentality. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Anyway, have an amazing day. Out for a dog walk before Liam's multi-sport session at 10:30. Paul, I have a lovely dog walk Again, well, you're down south, so I'm hoping the weather's pretty decent. Stefan's an island, so that's probably why I don't know. Like I say, the weather looks decent today, but it's probably just sweeping across here. I always do look at the weather forecast, certainly daily, because in this day and age, they're pretty decent, they're pretty accurate. Yesterday's wasn't. Yesterday said it was sunshine and cloud all day, and it rained. Like we had showers. But anyway, there we go. Weather is lovely in the south. Kelly has confirmed. Excellent. Sunshine and blue skies. What a day for a wedding, then. What a day for a wedding. Have a wonderful day. I know it's not your wedding, but I don't think it is. But yeah, have a great day. Weather's okay. We got last cut of grass down. Bale it tonight. Brilliant. Have you had 4 cuts this year, John? I think I've been trying to work out, like, if farmers get 4 cuts, it's pretty decent. I'm not sure they've had 4 cuts. I was trying to work it out. I think they've definitely had 3. 4 cuts is probably, you're probably on your 3rd. I would have thought it's a bit early for foot. Like normally, it's if you get like what they call an Indian summer, where you get a decent September, you can get an extra cut in at the end, and it certainly saves farmers a lot of money. But obviously, if you cut wet grass, you just have it as silage rather than hay. But there you go, a bit of farming talk. No, only 3 really struggled with the last 6 weeks of growing. It's been so dry. It has been so dry this year. Honestly, it is. The fields are like concrete. And when they've done the cuts, we have one field that we go down. It's got a public footpath through it. My mate owns the field. He's a farmer, and he's like more than happy for us to run the dogs. The woman moved in next door, and she's a bit of a job's worth, to be honest with you. And earlier on in the summer, I was running running Blossom in the field, and she was like, "Excuse me. I know this is a public footpath, but your dog should not be off the lead." I was like, "Why?" She was like, "Well, this is a farmer's field, and cattle might come in." I said, "No, cattle don't come in here. It's just for growing grass." And she went, "How do you know that?" I said, "Because Ian, who you actually bought his his mother-in-law's house that you live in there, and owns this field, and I've known him for 45 years, all my life, and I'm more than happy." And she's like, anyway, it's like, go on, off your pop. Anyway, there we go. So yeah, but when they cut the grass in that field, it is just brown underneath. Like, it's so dry. It is so dry. It's not been a good. You want lots of sunshine, but a decent bit of rain. I can't wait for Clarkson's farm next year. He seems to have nothing, but he's either sodden, but he's it's either sodden or dry. And I dread to think what his harvest is like this year, because saying that though, this time of year, bit of sunshine, bit of rain the next day, that's your perfect growing weather. Anyway, there we go. That's a bit of country, bit of country nattering, done and dusted. Now, weather is good tomorrow on Thursday. I've got a skip to fill. Very good exercise. Absolutely, manual labour is superb exercise. Kids back at school and back strength training. Instant spike on the scale. Why does that happen? You might be putting 2 and 2 together and getting 5. You're saying scales fluctuate all the time. They just do, right? And it might be nothing to do with back strength training. Now, obviously, if we've not trained for a few weeks and we go back to the gym, if you get quite severe DOMS from your first session back, you've also got to accept that there could be some swelling in the body as well. Swelling's water retention. It's going to show on the scales. And this is why, when people write a question like that, like kids back at school and back strength training, spike on the scale. It's like, why is the scale going? This is emotional attachment to the scales. And this is why I say you've got to step away. You've got to step until you've got a healthy relationship with the scales. Right? Now, don't get me wrong. Say might be asking there because it happens all the time. And she just wants educated on it. And once I've told them the reason. But generally, sometimes there isn't, scales do fluctuate all the time. Right. And if you're like, no, but every time I have a break and then I go back to the gym, I always see a 2, and I don't know what your class is a spike. It could be £1.5 pounds, it could be £6. I don't know. Right. But if you go into the gym, you're training, you train hard, you sweat, You know, you've got a little bit of dehydration there. That's going to cause a little bit of excess water retention. You have a little bit of swelling in the body. That's going to cause excess water retention. But we're doing something that's amazing for us, training, but it's having a negative impact on our mental health just because the scales are moving a little bit. And it might actually be nothing to do with that. Like I say, it might be putting 2 and 2 together and getting 5. So this is why we need to leave the scales alone a little bit, you know, especially if we have an unhealthy relationship, because it makes something that is very good for us like seem quite a bad thing, because it's like good to, and especially if you're in that mindset, I go to the gym to lose weight, you know. I've been married 20 years next year, cannot believe it. Going, Leanne, get it booked, but leave it 2 weeks, 3 weeks before you're going, right? And honestly, it doesn't matter where, it's just long haul. And I've seen it on 2 phrases, and we've never done it before. We always book when we're going long haul. We like to when we book holidays, we're not very off the cuff kind of people. People aren't, are they? You know, you need to. I wish we'd done it more when we were both self-employed. Don't get me wrong, we had holidays, but we weren't very spontaneous. That's the word I'm looking for. And we've had a couple of holidays this year. Egypt in March, which was a bargain. Like that hotel, I've not seen it cheaper. Like if you go in advance, than £1,600 each for a week. It was a lovely hotel, really, really nice hotel. £1,600 each for a week, right? And we booked it 2 weeks before we went, and we paid half that, 800 each, right? Just an absolute bargain. So, you know, I can't wait to be retired. Both of us to be retired. Hopefully, if we've got the money to be able to do it, and just go, right, where we're going in 2 weeks. Because you get some cracking deals. You get some cracking deals. Now, like I say, the hotel we've got booked to Mexico in 2 weeks. If I went to book that, I mean, don't get me wrong. Again, we've been to Mexico 6 times. We've been twice in February, once in March, twice in May, and this will be the first time in October. And there is like peak seasons. So peak season for the Caribbean is November to March. That is peak season. So November to the end of spring break at the end of March, right? And it's basically when it's driest and less humid, right? So like November's a really dry month. April's a really dry month. I don't know why. December, January, February can be a little bit. No, they're pretty, like, because it's tropical climate, and that is when it's going to be the most expensive. The best time to go if you want where you're going to get the best price is May. So May is very hot, but the humidity is not quite there, and it's still pretty dry, right? And it's coming out of peak season, so the prices really drop. Cheapest time to go is June, July, August, September. You've got to be careful with August, September. It is hurricane season. We're kind of going just on the edge, so there is a little bit. And like when you say hurricane season, the chances of a bad hurricane actually hitting is fairly limited, especially going in October. This time of year is a bit like that. And again, that's the cheapest time to go. There you go. So that's it. That's your guide to Mexico. Can you tell I enjoy it? I love it. I absolutely love the place. I'm buzzing. Can't wait. Can't wait to go. One thing you'll find if you look at the weather forecast this time of year, it'll say rain every day. It literally lasts for 5 minutes. We've had a few rainstorms in Mexico, and it's never been longer than, I think the longest it's ever rained for is 45 minutes. And then it's literally bright sunshine, tropical storm, bright sunshine. Right, never any different. So don't let that put you off. I've just checked the weather for Egypt next week. Thought it would have cooled a bit. Nope, absolutely no chance. We went in March, beginning of March, which is their winter, and it was 30. What we found in winter was weird. The hottest part of the day was 10 a.m. in March in Egypt. The hottest part of the day. The sun rises at 5. It's very warm, and then about 2:30 it goes cool. It goes cool at about 2:30. So we sort of like, you pool. Don't worry, it's still warm enough to go in the pools, and all the pools were heated. But it goes cool. This time of year, it'll be a lot hotter all the time. But it's just hot all the time, Egypt. I don't think it's ever goes cool, you know. I really want to go to Mexico, but not sure I could stand the flight. Do you know what? People say that about the flight. I love it, right? I honestly, I absolutely, again, I always say this. maybe it's because I do a sedentary job. I sit here for hours a day, right? Yes, I get up and move around a little bit, but you can do it on a plane. But I'm like, I don't know what's got. It's 10 hours, yeah, but it's free drink, free food. They space it really well. Like you get on the plane and like within an hour, within like you take off, within 45 minutes of taking off, you get your drink and your little bag of pretzels, right? And then about an hour and a half later, right? So you do a film, then you get your tea, you get your food, so you get your meal. That passes half an hour, and then about an hour after that, they'll come around with another drink service, and there's a free bar at the back of the plane. Right, so you can just walk to the back of the plane and get as much drinks as you want anyway, right? Just have a few beers, right? And then have another drink service. I then normally manage to try and nod off for 3 or 4 hours because you've had a few beers and you've had a few, and then you wake up and you've got about 2 hours to fly. Then they come around with an afternoon tea, and then you get another drink, and then you land. I would say it's 3 films. It's 3 films and a bit of a sleep. Like I'm more than happy to do that. And then you've got to focus on. It's like a weight loss journey, right? It is like a weight loss journey going on a long haul flight. If you just think of the destination, right, it can be a bit overwhelming. But if you break it down to what it actually is, it's not. It's fine. It's really good. And if you get a window seat, it's ace because you get to, especially depending on what time of year, you fly over Greenland, you see all the ice and and this, that, and the other. And then as it gets warm, and then when you get to flying over Florida, you see all the Florida Keys and all the Caribbean. And I love it. I absolutely love it. Can you tell? Honestly, it doesn't. And then coming home, it's 8 hours, and it's a night flight, so you fall asleep. Like it's a night. You fly at 5 o'clock Mexico time. You fly through the night. You land at like 7, 8 a.m. the next morning. So again, you take off. Hour in, you get a drink. I don't drink alcohol on the way back because I'm driving when I get home. But then you have your tea, and I still have to have my tea, fall asleep, and then normally wake up about an hour and a half before we land, stick a film on, and you're there. It's great. I did Mexico in September. Weather was beautiful. There was a hurricane in Dominican whilst there. Yeah, we won't talk about that. But yeah, the weather looks really good at the moment. Like I say, it says rain every day, but I've gone on as I normally do, I've gone on a Facebook group for the hotel that we're staying in, and it looks amazing. It's a long walk from the front of the plane to the back. It actually is on a Dreamliner. It actually is. It is. And again, these seats go very, very quickly. If you book, they have premium at the front of the plane, and then the first row of like economy, they're called extra space seats. So they're a little bit wider, and you get quite a bit of leg room. Very similar to what like an extra leg room seat is on. If you get extra leg room seat on a Dreamliner, you just get an extra 2 inches, right? Which in some circumstances might be all right, but on a plane, it's not great. But like extra leg room when you go to Benidorm or Tenerife, they're decent, aren't they? If you book an extra space at the front, you get that space, and it's only like 50 quid. It's like 200 quid for 2 a.m. return. We've sat there a couple of times. Brilliant. Couldn't get them this time because we booked too short notice. Anyway, it's looking about 38. Yeah, Tina, it's going to be hot. It is going to be hot. But that's what we go for, isn't it? We go for the nice weather, How do you meal prep? Me personally, or meal prepping in general. So meal prepping is just basically pre-cooking food and sticking it in the fridge and eating it at a later date, right? And you can meal prep in several different ways. I know you've got that meal prep king that he's a complete Birkin. You know what? He's built up a platform, but A, he just doesn't seem like a nice fella. But B, he's like, he makes stuff for the whole week. It's like, no, it goes a bit manky after a few days. How I tend to meal prep is I tend to be honest with you, in this day and age, I don't really meal prep that often. I work from home. My kitchen's in there. I don't need to. But when I worked in the gym, I used to meal prep all the time. I used to meal prep all the time. And basically, I used to pick one dish. I used to eat quite repetitively, and I just batch cook 4 or 5 portions from Monday to Friday. That's how I did it. And when you're meal prepping, What you need to think about is how you're going to eat that dish. Like if you're eating it cold, it's fine, but how you're going to heat it up. And most of the time with meal prep, we're going to heat it up. Right out to the gym, try Zoom whilst I'm getting ready. Not a problem at all, Tina. Hopefully see you in an hour or two. Is how you heat it up. And you're going to ping it in a microwave, right? You're going to ping it in a microwave. So when you're pinging something in a microwave, you want it to be saucy. You want it to be saucy. That's always, every ready meal that I review, it's always got a decent sauce with it or something like that. And that's what you're basically making. Meal prepping is making your own ready meals. All right. So I used to go, I just think one pot dishes are the best for meal prep. So like your pasta bolognese, chili, curries, things like that, really, really good for meal prepping. And, you know, you look at something like a spaghetti bolognese, it's as easy to make 6 portions as it is 2. It just takes a little bit longer to prep the food, doesn't it? You know, instead of chopping up 1 onion, you might chop up 2 or 3. You know, it just takes a little bit longer. But yeah, so my big tips for meal prepping is basically think about how you're going to heat the food up. You know it's going to be done in a microwave. You know, like I say, I bought some of these glass oven dishes, really, really good. And with those, you can reheat, air fryer, reheat, microwave. And to be honest with you, how many offices, who works in an office now, like most offices have some sort of kitchen set up, don't they? And you'll have a microwave, and a fridge and a freezer. So you can take your meal prep, put it in the fridge, and then ping it in the microwave to heat up. How many offices have got air fryers? I was thinking that. I said that to Rach. Because Rach was like, she was a bit like, she was the microwave. I said, do you have an air fryer? She's like, no. I said, these glass containers now, if you had an air fryer in the office, like, you know, I suppose it's one of them, isn't it? If you've got quite a busy office and you heat something up in the air fryer and it takes 15 minutes, you know, microwave's pinging it 3 minutes for it done. So if you've got 10 people watching use a microwave, it's quite a quick rotation. But I was like, well, no, offices now have air fryers, just see a different way to heat up because, you know, things like a shepherd's pie, yeah, you can heat it up in the microwave, but it's nice heating up in the oven, isn't it? So you've got a crispy top, you know. Maybe I'm just being a picky sod. But anyway, yeah, that's my big tip for meal prep. Pick dishes that you're going to be happy to eat microwave. I also think it's good making dishes that taste better the longer they sit, right? So I've got a recipe on it's an old school recipe of mine. I used to eat it all the time, which is my turkey and chicken 3-bean or mixed bean chili or chicken and turkey mixed bean chili, right? That, when you cook it, tastes lovely. The next day it tastes better. The day after that it tastes better. Day 4 is amazing. And I think it's just, you know, the longer something sits, yeah, the herbs, the spices, they all kind of infuse with each other. So yeah, I think that's my tip for meal prepping. And you know, it's quite good if you can eat repetitively. You know, one dish, maybe 2, you know, if you're meal prepping for lunch a day. But it is, you know, that's what you're making. You're making ready meals. You're basically making yourself a takeaway, you know, convenient food. And a lot of people really do struggle with their eating in terms of like convenience. You know, we get home from work or we get to the office and we're tired, or we get home from work and we're tired and we can't be arsed making something to eat for lunch the next day, or we can't be just having something there in the fridge that you can just ping in the microwave and then eat it there and then is great. And that was me when I was, you know, when I worked in the gym. Certainly when I started in the gym, building my business up, I was in there 6 days a week. And yeah, I was in there 6 days a week. And yeah, I used to take my breakfast every day. I used to take my lunch every day. And some days I was in there for 12 hours. Like I'd get there at sort of 7 in the morning and I'd leave 7, 8 o'clock at night time. So I'd take breakfast, lunch and tea, but I'm quite a repetitive eater. What I'd eat for my dinner, I'd take for my tea. I'd take 2 portions of pasta bolognese, one, what I called the Boss's staple, which was like my old school yogurt bowls that I used to make that was just yogurt, whey protein powder, fruit and granola sprinkled on top. Now I've took them to another level using frozen fruits, but loads of new frozen fruits, not new. I don't think they're new, but new to me yesterday. Mango, bought some mango. And then someone said to me, oh, I mix Greek yogurt and protein powder. And then I used a breakfast topper from Aldi. Never heard of it. I had a root yesterday, bought it, and it's just diced up different fruits. I also bought their smoothie mix yesterday. Again, not to make smoothies, but it's literally just frozen strawberries and banana. And I was like, that'll mix. I think that'll mix. I might try that today. Actually, I'm going to go make a yogurt bowl now. I was like, that might mix pretty decent into. So I've got some of the banana whey protein powder from Lidl. It's not the best protein powder, to be honest with you. I think I give it a thumbs down on worth of calories. I might have been a little bit harsh, and I think that's just because I'm used to Perform and how good Perform is. As a standard sort of protein powder, it's all right. But I'm going to use that. I think I'm going to use that today. So Greek yogurt, banana whey protein powder, strawberries and banana smoothie mix. But I'm just going to defrost it and mix it into the yogurt rather than making like a smoothie out of it. Chia seeds, a spoonful of stevia just to sweeten it up a little bit. Now, really, that banana protein powder from Lidl is really. This is how I can tell how much weight I've lost. My wedding ring, like, I need to go get it resized. I need to go get it resized. It is literally. It's not too bad. No, it's not too bad. I thought it was going to come off, but. Yeah, I need to go and get it resized because it feels very, very loose. Anyway, little is that that's a non-scale victory. I didn't mean it like that. Anyway, yeah. So and then I'm going to use. I'm into my cereal a bit at the moment. You've got to mix it up, right? I eat quite repetitively, but I do mix it up. So. Some people might say, oh, you've eaten yogurt bowls for the last 3-4 months. That's all you've been eating. Yeah, but they're always different. I experiment with different fruits, different flavors, different flavor protein powders. I made one over the weekend. I did a batch one, but then I'm just messing about with different flavors. We opened up a bag of the toffee popcorn on Sunday, and so I've got sweet and salted protein powder flavor from Perform. So I was like, So I literally did. I just did protein yogurt. Just did Greek yogurt with a scoop of sweet and salty popcorn, which just tastes just like sweet and salty popcorn. Protein powder mixed in, drizzle of honey, very sweet, delicious, and then put some toffee popcorn on top. So it was like a popcorn yogurt bowl, and it was banging, right? And it ticked an absolute sweet. Like sweet craving box, as well as being filled up. That's what I do. Repetitive with a twist each time. I like that, Faye. Repetitive with a twist. And again, when I used to do my Boss's staple, I'd use different granolas. I'd use different fruits to top it. I'd use different flavored protein powders. When I used to make my pasta bolognese, it was basically the same recipe, but sometimes I put grated carrot in, peppers, onions. Sometimes I'd top it with parmesan. Sometimes I wouldn't. And I know it doesn't sound. Sometimes I'd actually mix soft cream cheese, light cream cheese into it. So if you've had my creamy peri peri chicken and rice dish, yeah, sometimes I'd make pasta bolognese. And I put 80 grams of light soft cheese into it, mix it into it, made like a creamy pasta bolognese. Absolutely delicious. I might actually do that for a recipe. I might actually do that because it took it to it takes your spag bol to another level. It really, really does. Great for meal prep. Really good for meal prep. Anyway, is the protein powder just to fill you up? That is the main advantage. That's Kate on Facebook. That is the main advantage of it on a weight loss journey. Yeah, absolutely. Protein fills us up, right? It's satiating. It's the hardest thing the body finds to break down. So when you eat a lot of protein, it sits in your stomach for longer. It slows down the digestion of food. And that protein mixes with carbs, it mixes with fats, everything in your stomach. It's like a blender. It all mixes, you mash it all up here, and then it all mixes together in your stomach. So if you ate something that would digest very, very quickly, like white bread, alongside something that digests very, very slowly, like a chicken breast, right? Overall, it's going to be much slower digestion than having, say, a chicken sandwich is going to digest. It's going to keep you fuller for longer than a cheese sandwich, right? Because there's more protein in it. Yeah. So yeah, so the protein powder and protein powder is just a quick, easy, cheap, convenient way to bump your protein intake up, whether it's a quick shake, whether you add a scoop to your porridge, whether you add a scoop to your yogurt. It's just a great way to ramp up protein for not very many calories. I also eat a high amount of, I think protein powder has this association where it's just for bodybuilders and stuff like that. I used to get a lot of time, not been asked it, yeah, but it causes weight gain. What do you mean? Well, all bodybuilders eat it to build muscle. No, the bodybuilders have protein powder because protein also repairs muscle. So it's satiating, it fills us up. We talked before about exercising, breaking the muscle down. How you repair your muscle is through protein. So that's why bodybuilders don't eat protein to gain weight. They build protein to repair muscle. Now, if you're putting your muscle under a strain, it's going to adapt, and that's going to make it bigger. But the protein's there to repair the muscle, right? Is its main goal. So a high protein diet will fill you up, which is great on a weight loss journey. A high protein diet will also reduce muscle wastage. So as we get older, we suffer with something called sarcopenia. Once you hit 30, it's all downhill, I'm afraid. And once you hit 30, the body stops growing at 30, right? You're like, what? The body stops growing at 30, not at 18, not when you hit puberty. 30, your body keeps changing. Now, the changes from being 18 to 30 are generally, for most people, very slow, but that is when the body officially stops, right? We have a peak and a trough. So from being born to being 30, your body grows. From being 30 until, unfortunately, you meet your maker, the body then deteriorates, right? That's just life. That's just the way it is, I'm afraid, which is why as we get into our 30s and then 40s and 50s, you stop calling your knees left and right. You start calling them good and bad because that's when things start going a bit more downhill. But doing strength training in the gym keeps your joints stronger, keeps your muscles stronger, reduces the effects of aging. Alongside that, having a high protein diet, even if you're not training in a gym, will keep your joints stronger, will reduce the effects of sarcopenia, which is the depletion of muscle over time through aging. Right, so there's lots of other benefits. Muscle also has lots of essential amino acids, vitamins, minerals in there. So there's loads of benefits to having whey protein powder. Loads of benefits. Yeah. My mum works on the NHS course that eating protein makes you gain muscle. Of course they did. Unfortunately, the NHS is in many ways is an amazing thing that we have in this country, and we shouldn't have a go at it too much, and we shouldn't demonize it. But what people need to understand is, the NHS is very underfunded. The NHS is filled with people that are given roles and tasks that they're not educated to give. Right, I always hear people go, "My diabetic nurse told." Your diabetic nurse is not a nutritionalist. There should be way more nutritionalists and dietitians in the NHS. There isn't, right? And your GP is not a dietitian. Your diabetic nurse is not a dietitian. They should not be giving nutritional advice out, but they do give nutritional advice out. They can give advice out about, your diabetic nurse should, if you're type 1, should give you advice on how to inject yourself, right? That's what they're there for, right? And they might hand you a pamphlet out or a leaflet out. They should not be giving you direct nutritional advice, right? Because they're not educated. They're not taught to do that. They're just doing it through hearsay from what they hear from other people, So, yeah, of course. So having a high protein diet will help to maintain the muscle that you currently have. It won't build muscle. It won't. You build muscle by... It's an adaptive response is building muscle. It's basically putting your body through something so your body goes, I need to make this muscle stronger. You'll see a lot of manual laborers, a lot of, a mate of mine's done groundworks for years. He's like well in his 40s. His forearm, and he's one of them. Although he's high up now, he doesn't have to, he'll get on the shovel, right? He'll still do it. He absolutely loves it, right? So, yes, he can just walk around the sites now and point fingers and this, that, and that. He's not like that. He's literally like, someone phones in sick or they're a man down and they need to get something done, he'll get on the shovel. He's not bothered at all, right? And his forearms, he's never been to a gym in his life. he has got Popeye forearms. They are absolutely, his hands and forearms are monstrous. And that's just because of repetition of the jobs he's done through manual laboring, you know, through hard work over the years, you know. What's the difference between all the different protein powders? For example, Diet Whey, is there much difference? So Diet Whey is just a con, it's just a marketing gimmick, right? Whey protein is good quality whey protein, it's all the same calories. The main difference between Diet Whey and normal whey is it has green tea extract in it, which years ago, you don't really see Diet Whey anymore. It was quite a fad 10 years ago or so. And basically, a lot of people said green tea extract was great for weight loss. So what we'll do is we'll take normal protein powder, we'll add some green tea extract, and we'll charge people £10 a kilo more. That was it, right? Diet Whey is no different to normal whey protein. All right, you get two types of whey protein: whey concentrate and whey isolate. So whey concentrate is basically just a less refined form of whey isolate. So whey protein, Little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet eating her curds and whey. Curds and whey are the byproduct of making cheese from cow's milk. So when you make cheese from cow's milk, whey sits on top, right? And basically, and it's basically the protein from the milk that separates, right? And it gets skimmed off. And some person in time thought, you know what would be great with this is to powder it and flavor it because and we can use it and sell it. So it's basically making a lot of money off a byproduct that for years from cheese making will have been binned, right? And it's got a lot of milk concentrate in it, which is got a lot of milk concentrate in it, which is very condensed in protein. It's also dairy protein is one of the best proteins for us. It's absolutely amazing. It's what we call a full-on complete protein. And then when they refine it so much, they take the fat out of it, they take any fat that's left in it, they take lactose out of it, and that's your concentrate. They then might refine it a little bit more, which takes pretty much all the fat out of it and all the lactose out of it, and that's an isolate. Is there much different? If you're buying good quality protein powder like Perform, which is their concentrate, they also do an isolate as well. Isolate's a lot more expensive. You'll get a little bit more protein for your calories. And if you are lactose intolerant, go for an isolate. To be honest with you, with a good quality protein powder, if you're lactose intolerant, buy a sample of Perform, just a standard sample, and try it. Now, you know, if you get issues, your stomach cramps up a little bit, you get the runs, then try the isolate. You'll be absolutely fine. Isolate's basically lactose free, right? Even though it's from a cow. Yeah. So diet, forget it. It's just, look, don't get me wrong. If it's on sale and it's cheap, right? It's cheaper than the standard version. Fine. But in all honesty, it was just a gimmick. You don't see diet isolate, diet protein powder very often. Concentrated isolate, again, if you're buying a good quality protein powder, the differences are very, very minimal. It all depends down to budget and how finicky you are. I've got a lot of mates that are bodybuilders and they only have isolates. It's the best you can get, but they spend 500 quid a month on their bodybuilding. So, you know, they're not bothered. And then it's just down to quality of the actual product itself. You know, there's a million different cars out there, but, you know, the difference between your Datchas and your Porsches, there's different quality and there's different price points. So, you know, if you go to somewhere like Home Bargains, they'll do like USN. USN's not great quality, which is hence why it's quite a bit cheaper. Some of the protein bars are all right from USN, and the pre-made shakes aren't too bad, but the actual protein powder is not brilliant. I don't think my protein's got quite expensive recently over the last few years, but I don't think the quality of my whey protein powder isn't the best. You know, I used to have it quite a lot because it was cheap, but it's not that cheap anymore. And then once you start using a very good quality protein powder, you see the difference. But really, for everyday people, the difference is minimal. The only protein powders I would recommend everyone sticks away from is, again, Home Bargains. And people get attracted to these because of the names. the Mars, Twix, Snickers protein powders, they are absolute garbage. They're very low quality, have very little protein in them for a whey protein powder, have a lot of sugar in them. Again, I'll never demonize eating sugar or anything, but a protein powder should not be bulked out with processed sugar. It should have some natural sugar in it, lactose, and that's it. They actually bulk them out to make them very sweet, but it attracts people to Mars, and they actually do taste decent. They taste good, but it's because they've got so much junk in them. So those protein powders are absolute garbage. I've never tried. I think they do Muscle Moose protein powders. I've never tried them. I quite like the Muscle Moose brand. Some of their products are pretty decent, so I can't see them being, they won't be the best, but they won't be the worst. And like I say, for me personally, Perform is just fantastic. Are there other really good brands of protein powder other than Perform? Yeah, Naughty Boy is very good, which I've tried. Ghost is very good, which I've tried. Applied Nutrition's pretty decent. Yeah, pretty good. But for me, I just love Perform. It's just my go-to. Yeah. Lidl do protein powder now. Yeah, I've just talked about that one. I'm going to use that in me thing. Muscle Moose Honeycomb is gorgeous and not bad macros. So there you go. Like I say, I've never tried it. And it's not just down to, obviously, calorie to protein is important. And they're all very much, a lot of the concentrates, apart from the Mars ones, are all pretty kind of standard, as it were, calories to protein. Again, it's just how they mix, how they taste, that was my issue with the Lidl ones, quite synthetic in flavor, right? Obviously they've all got artificial flavorings in them and artificial sweeteners, but some of them are like, oh, that's really good. Like the jammy biscuit one from Perform, it tastes like a strawberry crusher milkshake to me. It's delicious. Whereas the strawberry one from Lidl tasted more like a Yazoo, but a Yazoo with quite an artificial aftertaste. Yazoos are artificial anyway. Do you know what I mean? So, Vimto Isolate is amazing. Yes, if you like a clear whey, if you don't want a milk, so a clear whey, still whey protein, it's still derived from cows. It's just more, they try and make it more cordial based. And My Protein, actually, their protein powders aren't great, but their whey, their clear whey isolate, but they're very expensive. They are very, very expensive. You'd be paying 20 odd quid just for 500 grams or 900 grams, maybe 500 grams. So the clear, but again, it's an isolate. So great if you're lactose intolerant, very high in protein. Like Karen said there, with ice, that's my thing with a clear whey isolate. They've got to be like ice cold. Whereas I could just use room temperature water with the Perform shake and drink it. Absolutely fine. I'd rather have it cold, but I could do. Clear wheys are they're not a very nice, if they're warm, not warm, but like room temperature. For me personally, they don't have a very nice taste or texture. Cold though, they're fine. They're absolutely fine. They used to do a mango peach, I think it was, with My Protein. That was a banger. That was really, really good. Right, I've got to go. I'm going to go get some breakfast. Got some work to do. And then I'm back at 11 a.m. Guys, I will put... all my flipping links have gone. Right, I need to log into Zoom and remember my Zoom login details. Zoom sign in. Is it saved? Accept cookies. I don't think it is that, but we'll see. Guys, I'll put all the links in for the WhatsApp lives this week. So we've got two, one at 11 a.m. today, one at 11 a.m. today, one at 5 p.m. on Thursday, and then what else have we got? Hang on, I think I'm into Zoom. I am, and then I'm going to create a shortcut for it. Yeah, I'll put those in the WhatsApp announcements now. Lovely. Right, guys, if you're on Planner in the community, if you're not, get signed up, TikTok profile, click on the link tree, Facebook page, YouTube page, click on the old link tree, get signed up, join the community, join the one-to-one plan. There's still some deals on for those until tomorrow, and you can come and join the Weight Loss Coaching Live at 11 a.m. this morning. We're talking about getting back into the swing. So if you're on Planner in the community, and you're free, I will see you in just over an hour. Everyone else, I'm back tomorrow morning, a bit earlier tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. 8 a.m. Cleaner's coming at 11, so I want to finish my live, get to the gym, and get back before Cleaner comes. So it's a little bit earlier tomorrow, and it might be for 45 minutes. But tomorrow's Everything Weight Loss Testing is at 8 p.m. So we're at 8 a.m. Yeah. Yeah, a little bit earlier. So and that's going to be TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. So I'll hopefully see you in the morning if you're not in the community and you're not on the live in an hour or so. TikTok, sign off to you first. Have a great Tuesday. Facebook, YouTube, I'll sign off to you now. Have a great Tuesday. If you only follow me on Facebook, YouTube, I'll see you tomorrow.